Anthem's early access lands very soon, so Bioware took to Twitter to do another Ask Me Almost Anything About Anthem, or AMA, to keep up the theme of having completely open comms. In this, they answered a lot of questions and spilled a lot of information, so today we're going to do a very thorough, relevant answer discussion, including post-expedition screen stats, spectator cams, waypoints, raids, and more. But first, congrats again to the winners of the digital copies of Anthem, Owen and Daniel. It's not over though, as I've started a fresh new competition, link below to enter. So let's start with Mark Dara's replies. Will we have the option to do strongholds in all difficulties solo? No. Of course not, guys. Strongholds are basically small raids tuned to needing 4 people and coordination to get through. This is your endgame content. You can always do the story, contracts, and free play solo. I'm typically a solo player myself. My channel started on Mass Effect and Shadow of Mordor, but Anthem is actually really fun if you see it as a co-op experience. It's meant to be played that way. Give it a try, thinking that it is co-op, and you'll have a blast. So how much will cosmetics cost at launch, and how many hours will it take to earn those cosmetics if we were to grind from asks skill up? Mark replies with, we are constantly adjusting the balance of the economy. We want to ensure that you earn things in game in a reasonable amount of time. I think at this stage, the devs should have a rough idea of the cost, but I think they don't want that narrative to be all that's spoken about the game. Do you blame them though? Because as soon as that piece of misinformation came out about microtransactions, the media like Skill Up jumped all over it. I think we should be given a rough idea though, and it looks like we need to wait till early access to find out. It'll be something that people talk about for sure since it's EA. Will there be a spectator cam on launch so we don't have to stare at a big red revive screen? Probably not for launch, but being looked into. Look, this is going to be a great quality of life improvement. Personally, I would have loved to jump over to my friend and yell, hey dude, stop shooting and res me. I can see you, I'm watching you miss your headshots. No wonder we're losing, but we can't have that just yet. But I hope it comes through. There will be no swappable melee weapons at launch. This is something they've been asked about consistently since 2017, and I'm sure it's on their mind, especially after seeing the giant sword General Tarsus wielded. Look, the devs have said the javelin she used was an older model, but still, ask for what you want, people, and the devs will consider it. We won't be getting an increase to the amount of people allowed in the free play servers. Imagine the balancing needed to make more than 4 players work in free play when the whole game is balanced to a max of 4. I don't think that's where they're going to invest their time because frankly, more content would be a better use of it. So here's a good one. Would we be able to change the colors of thrusters? Not at launch, we really want to add this. Damn right you do, Mark. I've been talking about changing the colors of ambient effects for ages now. One of the top comments on their videos is me saying higher tier gear items should change particle effects of skills. People love that stuff and it makes the loot chase even better when you can find an item that makes you stand out even more. Whoa dude, did your missile just explode blue? Yeah man, it's my new legendary. That's the narrative I want. So, is there a possibility of setting waypoints in free play? It's frankly a pretty important thing, and Mark seems to be all over the idea. Its absence was especially notable when trying to look for the Ash Titan in the public demo. I'm sure once everyone gets used to the map, it'll be easier, but right now, waypoints would help with the whole getting lost factor. One can only imagine what this tweet must have said for Mark to react this way, and for it to end up being deleted, but this seems to be about microtransactions, so take a read of it, guys. If you don't already know this, take note, since it was already said a million times already. Though those irrationally attacking really haven't done the research anyway, so I doubt they'll be listening to this video, but those with valid points, yeah, address these. Will there be photo mode? Not at launch, but it's widely requested. So there you go, guys. You'll be able to take easier snaps eventually. However, until then, you can hit the print screen key on your PC, or I don't know, hold your mobile phone up to the screen. Are you exploring the possibility of companions for us antisocial types who love Bioware? No, this is not being considered for Anthem. Dragon Age, on the other hand. So guys, we will never be getting NPCs to help. I don't think this is ever going to happen. It goes against what kind of game the developers are making. They want human interaction. They want it to feel like a co-op experience. I doubt they even have the AI there to function like a second, third, or fourth player. It would be nice to be able to sub in a computer to help, but matchmaking is quite easy and you don't even need to talk to them. I appreciate any Dragon Age hint though, Mark, so keep them coming. In terms of pilot customization, you're pretty limited. For the pilot, you will pick a pre-generated head from a list. Now, I signed an NDA when I played this stuff, so I wasn't allowed to talk about it or show it, but a few people have leaked the options already. Basically, you select heads you want representing your avatar. It really doesn't matter though, as you only really see the face in the power-up animation. What's important though is the look of your javelin, and that's what the game's focus is. Don't expect Mass Effect or Dragon Age levels of customization. Is the game going to get smoother? We will be optimizing this game forever. A lot of optimizations have already gone into launch. So Mark is saying that the game is a live service and they will be striving to improve it consistently, even past launch, but the launch build itself is better than the demo. I can attest to that as well personally. It felt smoother, it had less bugs, and it was quite a bit more polished. They've since done quite a bit of tuning, so I'm expecting there to be a noticeable difference. I just had to put this One Punch Man reference in. You're the man, Mark. My Hero Academia is better though, guys. Make sure to check it out. I want more activities in the open world, more various activities like treasure hunt, races, or things like that. We'll be adding new activities and things to do over time. Races would be cool. I don't know about that, Mark. Races would be kind of weird. I'm definitely for more activities, and I believe they do state that they're working on it in the roadmap. If they're putting in races, why not a javelin fashion show with runway and judges? Each person struts down to the end, does an emote, and turns back around. Why not a pet show where we capture and train up grabbits to see whose is the best? Why not horseshoe toss or a fishing minigame? I think I made my point. Let's move on to the Thunder Down Under lead producer Ben Irving. Will there be a training room available to test out new abilities, combos, etc., as opposed to equipping, ongoing, testing, coming back, changing, etc., etc.? Also on PC, possible screenshot keybind. Also PC chat box. He says, there is no training room. Print screen. We've discussed several times we don't have a text chat at launch. I actually like the idea of a training room. A place we can go to test out damage numbers, combos, etc. on a training room dummy without needing to load in and out of free play. That was one of the problems I had around the game, was that I couldn't really test out builds before I commit to them. There's quite a few load screens between equipping and heading out. So there won't be a text chat at launch, but there really should be. There's some legal issues behind it, and I've discussed it on a separate video, but needless to say, its absence is quite noticeable. Here's a very requested one. Sprint speed increased, movement, responsiveness, and camera improvements in Fort Tarsus. I am very sure people are rejoicing right now, as it felt like kind of walking through pudding. I was messaged by multiple people, including real life friends, to try to make this a point to be fixed. I didn't want to move around the fort to get new quests or even look at the dailies because it felt so slow and tedious. Now though, we can get through that pudding and onto the real main course, missions outside of the fort. So we will most likely be getting raids, or aspirational content as they call it, within the first year. That's good news, but a year is a long time. In the next tweet, Ben mentions that Cataclysms represent this, and the third stage of Act 1 post-release roadmap suggests that Cataclysms are coming, so expect it after March sometime. We don't have much to go on, but it seems that these world-changing events will require a lot of people together to compete. I'm envisioning something like a worldwide tracker on how many kills we've made and rewards for everyone involved. Now, I want to stress this response because I've had quite a few people in my Discord argue about it. Setting up loadouts is all done in the Forge before you go on a mission. We don't want your team to have to wait for you out on the field. Anthem is a high mobility game that moves fast. This is extremely important. This is why you can't check your inventory and switch out on the field. Not only would it imbalance things, as you could simply equip a mob killing build and switch to a boss killing one when needed, it would also slow down your team. Could you imagine randoms just sitting there looking at their loot while you're getting your ass handed to you by an elite? Anthem requires teamwork and mobility. Will some bosses have unique drops? Not at launch, but we're looking into this. Right now, loot functions on a table, but it would be interesting to see how many people will be funneled into a particular content if boss drops were unique items. I'm not sure I like that, honestly. Would mean that I'd have to farm the same content until I get the drop I want. Some people prefer that, as they can hunt for exactly what they're feeling, but that's what crafting is for. If you get booted from a mission or leave, you will get all the experience and gear up to that point when you return. Simple. There was a bug in the VIP demo that stopped that, but the ideal situation is you get all of it and don't lose your progress up to the point you left. You can always rejoin the match in progress if you're quick enough. We know that some Masterwork guns have elemental damage explosions, but now we know that Ben is considering elemental damage type guns. We would love this, Ben. Really do mull it over. We would love stormed themed pistols that shoot lightning or incendiary rounds on assault rifles. Look, I mean, you got crazy space wizards, why not? Typically, if a skill isn't a primer or detonator, it will do more damage total. This is seen on the skill Arc Lightning, where it's electric based, but it doesn't prime or detonate. The lightning damage type makes it very good against shielded targets, and the high damage hits them hard. Burning down the shields fast is important because those without shields can't be primed, so you can see the use of those without priming or detonating abilities. We're going to finish off with the answers from Chad Robinson, the head of live service. The story will be ongoing and has been planned from the start to be. This means that yes, there will be an endpoint to the main game, but future content will continue on from there. They really do plan to keep making story content, so rejoice those who love playing single player. There is a potential for sponsorship and event vinyls in the future, so perhaps we may see Dr. Pepper vinyls. Well, no, seriously, they will most likely be event-based vinyls. Imagine Easter-themed ones during an Easter event, or Halloween ones during a Halloween event. My personal burning question was, are there plans to update the user interface post-expedition screen? I want to see statistics, I want to see how many kills I had, how much damage I took, all the way down to how many grabbits I killed and how long I spent airborne. These kinds of things add ways to brag to friends or help you improve. Chad goes on to say he has plans after launch. I'm excited to see what happens in that front. I find it super important because the game spends so long on the post mission. Happy to say I was the last question answered by Chad. I just made it in. So that's it for the AMA. Hopefully you learned some things you didn't before about Anthem. Don't forget to enter the competition. Also join my Discord to chat to like-minded individuals. I have a Twitter if that's more your style, and I'm very active. Thank you so much for supporting me. All those likes, comments and shares and subs help so damn much. So for those who went the extra mile on Patreon, thank you, and you'll be listening to the end credits. Thank you everyone else, and I'll be back very soon with more.